Hi, Dr. Heather here from Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today I want to share with you some of the testing that we use if someone comes in and they've had a concussion, how we can then measure that. We also use it as a pre-test to get a baseline to see what a healthy normal would be in an athlete so that when they do get concussed, we can measure that and we know when they're able to get back into play when they've been all healed up. So this test is the only FDA approved test, and it's a combination of proprioception and visual and vestibular assessment as well as reaction time. So the first part of the test is asking the person to use this device where they're going to stand and put it against their chest, and it's going to measure their movement, kind of like a GPS system. And the idea is that when they're standing still, if their brain is really controlling their body, they should be able to just stand completely still with very little movement. But when you have a concussion, that movement can be all over the place. And so we can actually measure that. And so the first part of the test is just standing still. And then the second part, and all these are with the eyes closed, the second part is having them stand with one foot in front of the other in a line. And then we switch feet. So we do it in both left front and then right front. And so that can help us identify which direction they tend to keep falling, and it helps us understand what's happening in their nervous system. We also do a part of that test where they are lifting one leg up off the ground and trying to balance, all again with the eyes closed, and then we switch sides. And so that's the first part of the test, looking at that vestibular or that proprioceptive aspect. But then there's the second part where we want to look at reaction time. So in the first part, we take the visual cues away and have the eyes closed. In the second one, we're going to have the eyes open, and we're going to be using the device as a trigger for a reaction or a response. So the person's going to look at the device, and it's going to, in a certain moment, it's going to suddenly make a change. And that person has to then make their corresponding signal that they see that change, and they're going to shake the device so that it acknowledges that they see that. And then they just do it repeatedly, and it can measure the reaction time. And that's so important because if an athlete's slow in their reaction, then they're going to be slow to be able to adapt to any fast things that are happening during play, and that can lead to more injuries. So that test is a fantastic test to use. Again, it's the only FDA-approved test. Then I also like to follow with the 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒕 test. The 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒕 test is one where the person is standing, they will close their eyes, and then they will hold their arms out in front of them with their palms up. And then we're going to ask them to just march in place. And they're going to march with it's a very high marching step. And again, by taking the visual cues away, their brain thinks that they are just marching in place. And that is what the instruction is, to just simply march in place. And it is astounding to see athletes when they have been concussed after they are finished marching in place and they open their eyes and they're in a whole different part of the room because they actually have drifted off because that proprioception is distorted. And so these two tests are so useful for us to identify if there is still brain healing that needs to happen. And then we know when it's going to be safe for that player to go back into play. This is a test that I also can use with older folks that have balance issues. There's different variations we can use. So it's really useful at assessing vestibular and proprioceptive function in the brain. I hope that you found that this was useful. If you did, please share it with other folks, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.